Welcome back, guys. Jeremy here at Cairn Creek. Today's project is going to be not so exciting, but we're going to put a live edge cherry slab as a desktop in the bonus room. Also in this video, we're going to be touching on some exciting things. Actually, I mentioned in the last video about our internet options. I think we've got some new options available that hopefully we'll meet with some guy on Friday of this week and tell us more about what our options are. Could turn into a really good deal. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Right now we got some basketball going on with the boys. Almost done. I think tonight's going to be our last game with basketball, so that'll free up a lot of time too. So right now we're going to jump on this cherry slab. I'll show you what we've got here. It's been cut for a couple months now. Nothing real big. Right now it's sitting at about 2 inches thick, so we're going to cut it to size to where it's going to custom fit in our area. I know we got some guys out there watching this channel, and I think they will like how this beautiful desktop turns out. So we got our lines, we're going to cut it. So let's get to work cutting this baby. Here is our cherry live edge slab in place for our little mini desk. One coat of clear coat on it right now. I think it's going to be really cool for what we need. We don't need nothing big or fancy, but this will just be an area where we can put a little chair. And the boys after school, when they ride the bus out, they can do homework. I'll probably use it the most. Just taking notes and getting my plans down for different projects. So probably 3 more coats of clear coat on it. We'll sand it and keep applying. It's going to be cool. So I mentioned about the internet possibilities. We touched briefly on it the last episode. Our options are basically to hardwire from the road, which is several, over 1,000 feet. The way the technology is going, I don't know if that's the best route. We can do that. A mobile cell type service was also possible to feed off a cell phone tower in the vicinity. A new option that has developed is there's a guy that in rural areas like we were at, he sets these towers up maybe 100, 200 feet tall on a tall point on your property. He provides you no cost internet service, but in turn he sells internet to everybody within like a 20-mile radius of that tower he puts up. So on this property we have some tall peaks, so he's going to come out Friday. We're going to go up, he's going to do some math, do some service type analysis to see how that works. Having said all that, it sounds like a sweet deal, but I'm really particular about what goes on. So that's why I want to meet with him, find out logistics. I even am considering the option of if I pay for all the construction of the tower, long term, do I get revenue? You know, there's some math involved and some critical thinking involved. But it would be exciting, you know, it could be a home run. And he might come out Friday and say, no good, no bueno, don't look, the elevation, the site's not right. Accessibility wise, it's definitely a tough site to get to, but we could take the dozer and make a trail. I don't want to make a road that far up. But Friday it's going to be really cold. We're getting outside Friday. It's going to be a high of like 23 degrees. The ground should freeze up in the woods, so we're going outside Friday. Hopefully he can still make it Friday. We'll take you guys up on that ridge top. Hopefully get to speak with him too, and see what options are possible. So I think it's about as exciting as it gets when it comes to possible internet service. So we'll hope for the best. So here we are, another Saturday morning. Finally, the sunshine has came out. Still pretty cold, but that cold is going to help us get up in the woods because the ground's frozen. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to get outside and do some stuff on the frozen ground. It's not muddy. It's probably going to thaw out later today. It's supposed to get up into the upper 30s. So it will thaw out. The first thing I'm going to do here this morning is I'm going to get in the Kubota RTV, take it up in the woods. I want to show you guys a few things up in the woods, and then also we might try to find some oyster mushrooms. It's getting late in the season for oyster mushrooms, but those things are delicious. They're absolutely delicious. Tastes like a regular mushroom kind of, but it's just great. They grow out in the wild, and a lot of people don't know about them. But this Kubota RTV in the background, bought it brand new, I believe in 2004, around in that area. I bought this, what's considered a side-by-side. I bought it before side-by-sides were cool. It's a great workhorse. It really is. We've got the enclosed cab, we've got a snowplow for it. We've used it on jobs to plow snow commercially in town. Used it for a lot of play. It's got tons of use, and it's been really good to us. We'd like to get a different side-by-side for out at the property now, just something with a little more agility, more speed. Like I said, this thing's a great workhorse, but as far as playing or getting somewhere quick, it's not the right machine, but it does us good. It's got the dump bed on it for hauling firewood, moving mulch, gravel. It's great for those type tasks. But, so it's an older machine, 16 years old. It's got a lot of problems. It's rusted out on floorboard. It loses tons of hydraulic fluid. It's not a cheap vehicle to do maintenance on either. So it's at the point of its life to where we just keep running it. If something major happens, we definitely address that. We just had to put all new tires on it. So basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna top off some fluids in it, get some diesel in it, some hydraulic fluid, check the oil. Luckily it's got a heater, so I'm gonna jump in it. We're gonna go up in the woods here and check out a few things and hopefully find some oyster mushrooms. Here we are at one of the, not the highest peak on the property, but one of the higher peaks here. We're at elevation around almost 1270, I think, is the elevation at this point. So we're about 300 feet at least in higher elevation than the mill shop where it's at. But I want to bring you guys up here because one of our internet options, after talking to some folks, is there's a guy that'll come, he'll set up a tower. So this would be a nice peak to set up a tower. He picks up a beam from 70 miles away from another tower and then redistributes it from this point. So basically in rural areas, he goes door to door, sends out flyers, to where if you have slow internet, he can boost that speed by sending the beam from a tower such that would go here. Still haven't got connected with the guy, but it sounds very interesting with these possibilities. And I'll show you around here. But this is just one of the peaks that we cleaned out this area here, and we have a good buddy that lives 15 miles, maybe 10 miles, I don't know the distance, but down south. We're looking south here. So in the summer, we came up to this point, set off some fireworks. He let us some fireworks, and we was able to communicate back and forth with fireworks. It was really cool. We had a bunch of people out. It was neat. So like I said, we cleared this out, and I'll show you guys this view down this way. You cannot, if you look real close, which I can zoom in, I reckon, I think. You can barely see the driveway to our property down that way. It's kind of hard to see, I know. So basically, if you had a tower up at this point, you know, if that tower extended 100, 200 feet, it would be able to gain signal to many places. The problem I thought of was the access and power, but I guess they can use solar panels and batteries to power the unit. It doesn't take much power. But from this peak here, obviously our goal is to shoot down to the mill shop to get our internet service. But then you can see eastbound, there's a heavily populated road down that way. Now we're pointing north. This ridge goes out just a little bit farther. To the north we have, actually Circleville might be reachable, which is a fairly large town. And then to the west, we have the higher elevations on our property, so that's kind of blocked. And that's the hometown we're in, Chillicothe. It's in that direction. So here we are. And I wanted to mention also, this point here, this summer you'll get to see some poker runs. It's where we take all the side-by-sides, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, golf carts. We'll get 15, 20, 25 people. This is always our first stop, this location here, to do our first draw of the poker run. Those are really fun, and I hope you guys will get to go along with us one of these days. The Kubota is handy today. It's getting us everywhere because the ground's frozen. So when I'm looking for the oyster mushrooms, I'm looking for down trees. This looks like an old maple. It's been down for a while. So I noticed some mushrooms on this tree. But after closer inspection, this fun guy is not an oyster mushroom. These are not edible. So we're going to continue to look. Alright, so I've quickly found some here, but the problem is they are frozen and I cannot really get them, and they're small. Like I said, it's really late in the season, but we have some here, and there's some growing where this log is broken. There's some growing in there. Those are not worth me fooling with, so I think we're going to continue to look a little bit, see what else we can find. And if nothing else, we know this will be a great spot to revisit next November. I do want to do a disclaimer here. I'm not a mushroom expert, so don't use this video to go find mushrooms for food. Use this video for enjoyment. But I did come across another down tree that's pretty old. And this one's got a bunch up through there. The problem is, they're frozen and they're about done. I don't want to fool with them. But what is cool about this little spot in paradise, I want to show you guys these poplar trees. Big old poplar unit. Small poplar. There's a maple and there's a poplar on down. And right here, this poplar right here is humongous. And by the looks of it, I think within a year it's going to fall. It's got a really big lean to it. It's a lot of fence boards for old hee-hees. And we're not going to come take that one down, but we're definitely going to keep an eye on it. Here we are, fast forward another 100 yards. There's a few more of the big rocks, probably the size of a Volkswagen. Some more rocks up there. But this is the area I walked over to show you guys. You can see here where this ground is broken loose, the subsoils, whatnot, got some moisture, some rain underneath, and the hillside just slipped down. So when it slipped, you can see all these trees that took with it. This won't be an easy task to get up here and get all these untangled, get them cut out. But they're not doing much good up here. We will be able to get some saw logs out of these trees and get this area cleaned up so the smaller stuff can continue to grow and maybe prevent some future slippage of the hill. So now we're going to head back down to the mill shop because Colby Oak needs picked up at driving school, and we got a tinker. We're going to do some good tinkering today, and we're going to do something fun. I don't know what we're going to do fun yet, but we're going to do something fun. So far this video has been somewhat not fun, so let's go do something fun. Still Saturday afternoon, not quite dark yet, but we're making progress. Still haven't done anything exciting fun yet, but we did just put a top end in CoCo's bike. It's not quite pure riding season yet, but old Daddy-O got the top end put in, and now CoCo's in charge of putting the plastics back together. Here at the home shop, we also have a project for Karen Creek. We're making a sign. So we've got these old used horseshoes. I think these are compliments of Philo Beto from back in the day. But we're going to try to weld these horseshoes all up and make a sign that says Karen Creek. And it'll go up in the bonus room. I think it'll be really cool. So we'll have to cut, weld, and probably not a fun project, but definitely a cool project. When you say it's going to be cool, CoCo?
Yep.